This weekend in California, over 100,000 racing fans came out for the final IndyCar race of the season, the 1995 Toyota Grand Prix of Monterey at Laguna Seca. Drivers here cover 300 miles on windy roadways at breakneck speeds. The excitement can be overwhelming. But this year's race hasn't been all fun and games. The talk at the track was of the future of the sport, as the government is threatening to cut off the lifeblood of auto racing, name brand tobacco sponsorship. A few weeks ago, President Clinton authorized the Food and Drug Administration to assert regulatory control over cigarettes and other tobacco products. Wielding its new authority, the FDA proposed a series of measures it claims will prevent youth smoking. Among the measures is a ban on brand sponsorship of all sporting events, including auto racing. The effects of such a ban would be devastating.
If we lose any segment of sponsorship, and in particularly the major tobacco company sponsorship, from the sport of professional automobile racing, it's going to create an economic impact on the sport itself, which will result in the sport losing a level of its quality. When it loses a level of its quality, we'll now not be able to present the same level of product to our spectator audience, to our corporate audience. That means the people will stop coming to major events, and the level they're coming, they will stop staying in hotels, stop eating in restaurants at events, and the net result will be the loss of jobs.
Racing participants and fans are outraged by the FDA's plans. They say pulling brand sponsorship from racing could ruin the sport.
Without corporate backing, corporate dollars, there'd be a lot less race cars here, and there'd be a lot less people here in the grandstands watching this event.
What we have to do is stop the government from trying to control our lives. Doing this is just the first step to many more things. This is our livelihood. We have a lot of support over the years. They've been here for a lot of years, and we need to keep the government out.
Many view the FDA's plan as an example of government intervention that goes too far.
I'm very angry about it. I'm outraged because I'm a big IndyCar fan, and I just don't believe they're taking sponsorship away from a lot of teams, and it's just not right.
When I vote for the president in the 1996 election, this has a big impact, without a doubt.
Not everybody in Washington agrees with the FDA's plan.
We think, first of all, it ought to come to Congress. It shouldn't go to the FDA.
Those involved in professional racing share that view, that the FDA should stay out of sports. They say brand sponsorship has made racing what it is today, the #1 spectator sport in the world. This is Mike Morris reporting.
Our business is about sponsorship. That's what drives our sport. Without sponsorship, there would be no motor racing. It is completely incorrect to assume that the monies that come through by ticket sales or concession sales are what make the sport work. It's not the case at all. We're driven by sponsoring. Without sponsoring and sponsors, there would be no motor racing in this country.
Tobacco involvement in both the sponsorship and the corporate hospitality areas is, to say the least, significant. To eliminate their involvement would leave a tremendous void that I don't know if there's a category out there that could conceivably replace them.
The sport is such, it's expensive, and it's such that it does need corporations to participate. And you have to have companies from every walk of business life involved. The fact that tobacco companies traditionally have been in the sport has created a very large economic impact on the sport itself. If we're to lose tobacco companies from the sport, it'll have a serious effect on the entire economy of the sport of motor racing at every level.
that we get is, I don't know if you say the backbone, but it has a lot to do with funding not only teams, but events, all kinds of things. And, you know, it's very important to this series.
Yeah, if the FDA succeeds in banning the tobacco industry's support of auto racing, then you're going to see a lot of these small races get broken down and, you know, completely disbanded altogether. The large races are going to, you know, falter and become a lot smaller than what they are, and that's going to lead to less fan support, and the industry is just going to die.
Food and Drug Administration has gone way overboard. That's what they should govern is you know, food. Now they're going into sports, and they're telling what sports and what other fields can use as sponsorships. That's not right.
The FDA has no place in sports to deter anybody from smoking. A choice is a choice, sponsorship to sponsorship.
Sure, I'm definitely of the opinion that children should not be smoking. Just like with alcohol, there are no vendors that you can go in and put a quarter in and get a cold beer out. I think there's some measures that could be taken to eliminate the access that children have to cigarettes and tobacco products. And as long as those measures are taken, then I think tobacco, just like alcohol, can be not necessarily regulated, but administered in the same way.